Now, due to the US-Israel versus Iran war and the subsequent blockade of Strait of Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz has been in news for quite some time now. However, it has been important since time immemorial, and there has been empires who have fought to control the Strait of Hormuz. So in this video, we will see the history of the fights and the control that was taken of Strait of Hormuz and by whom, from what to what time, leading up to the present scenario. So let us get started with respect to the empires that fought for the Strait of Hormuz before the present US-Israel versus Iran war. So first, let's understand the strategic importance of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is, as this map clearly shows, is a key global route for oil transportation, because see, it is going to connect the entire West Asia and then give you connectivity to Europe, etc. And this West Asia, which is over here, it transfers crude oil, etc. to the rest of the world. The ships travel through this narrow region known as the Strait of Hormuz. Now, this hence can act as a choke point. Now, the importance is that, of course, it's connecting the Persian Gulf with the Arabian Sea. So here is the Gulf, here is the Arabian Sea. It connects the two over here and makes the transportation possible. Now, about 20% of the global oil trade, that means 1/5 of the global oil trade, passes through this region, as a result of which you can choke this region and make it a choke point in the global energy flow or trade, causing issues with respect to the energy security. Now, presently, the war that is going on, it has played a pivotal role in this, and it has done the same with respect to other West Asian conflicts that has been there in previously as well. Now, let us understand its importance in the history, of course. So, if you look at the pre-colonial importance before colonization, so you had the Strait of Hormuz controlled by the Kingdom of Hormuz. The Kingdom of Hormuz is what has been written over here from 11th century onwards. Now, it was the trade hub and linking what? Linking Persia, Arabia, East Africa, as well as India, the Indian subcontinent as well. The wealth it had was based on the trade of spices and silk. Why not the crude oil? Why not the gas, etc.? Because by that time, the reserves were not found, the use were not found, we were not able, we didn't have the discovery of the reserves, and of course, the utilization of the crude oil as such was not there during the 11th century. The early example of this trade hub is the maritime economic geography that was there, connecting these regions with the Indian subcontinent and other parts of the world. Now, in 16th century, the Portuguese controlled it. Remember, Portuguese are also going to enter India, right? And then the other parts as well, including the Strait of Hormuz. So, Portuguese conquest in 1515 is going to give them the control over the Strait of Hormuz, right? So, militarized strategy. What strategy did they have? Fortify the island Hormuz and imposed taxes on trade. So it's not that they are alone trading, and it's not that they are not allowing others to trade. They are allowing others to trade. It's simply that if you want to trade from that region, they imposed fees, or you can say tax, on the trade, and using that they earned revenue. They established the Carta system, the naval permit regime. What is this Carta system? Wherein the ships are given permits to go from one place to another. What was the limitation to this control? High military cost and unsustainable. High military cost because you have to keep a check that everyone is abiding by it and paying you the fees. To do that, you have to enforce it, or why will else others be doing give you the payment? So you have to have your own military, own navy, own force in order to give effect to that. And the other side can also be really strong and harm your own navy. So you need to be really strong. To be really strong, you need to spend a lot. That is why the higher cost was over here. Now, in 17th century, there was a shift in power. What kind of shift are we talking about? So the alliance of the English East India Company, the Dutch East India Company, and the Safavid Empire under Shah Abbas won. So this was the alliance, right? And because of that alliance, what happened? The defeat of the Portuguese is what happened, bringing an end to the Iberian dominance. The Portuguese were defeated by this alliance, as a result of which the Portuguese were removed. However, there was no further stability as such, because that was the beginning of the Anglo-Dutch rivalry. Here they combined, but after winning, they would fight amongst themselves only. And the two major forces here will be the English and the Dutch, and the Anglo-Dutch war will start, as a result of which in the 17th and 18th century you will see the Anglo-Dutch rivalry, right? And as we know, in our own modern history, our own freedom struggle, who's going to dominate this? The English is going to dominate this, right? Initially there was a dominance of Dutch. Why? Because of superior navy, because of trade monopoly. However, this declined. Why? Due to the overextension. When you keep on spreading, you keep on diluting your power that is there, and because of huge amount of corruption in the Dutch setup, right? And finally, the death nail, or the last nail in the coffin of the Dutch, was by the English in the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War. So the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War led to the Dutch exit and subsequent power vacuum. The Dutch, who were initially controlling, now they are not there, they are removed, so a power vacuum is created, and someone needs to fill that power vacuum, right? So who is going to fill that power vacuum? The British hegemony will be there. So we look at the British hegemony and their model of control. So the British naval campaigns in 1809, 1819 versus Al-Qawasim, versus the Al-Qawasim. This Al-Qawasim provided opposition to the British in the Gulf area. However, this led to the creation of the crucial states that is known as the modern United Arab Emirates. Now, what was the strategy that was acquired over here or adopted? The naval dominance plus diplomacy. Do diplomacy, soft power, but also have your naval dominance, that is hard power, intact. Indirect control, protectorates. What is protectorates? You are going to provide the ships protection in that region, so these ships will be your protectorates. You will protect them, and again you will charge the fees, and hence you will earn the revenue from this. Now, how was this different from the Portuguese? In contrast to Portuguese, it was different because from the direct military control which the Portuguese had, the English had the indirect political control over the Strait of Hormuz, right? And then started the oil era and the strategic transformation. Oil era, because see, oil was discovered and oil was utilized, so oil became the currency, oil became basically the wealth, as a result of which the oil concession in 1901 would be provided. First oil discovery is going to take place, as a result of which formation of the Anglo-Persian Oil Company is going to take place. Now they have another means of making money, transporting oil from the same region. So the fees and all as such is not required. Now the other region is also required, but Strait of Hormuz still holds importance, because from that region only you are going to do the trade, right? Now, as a result of which Winston Churchill shifts navy to oil. So focus becomes on oil. Now this Strait of Hormuz is going to evolve, right? It will become a trade choke point. It is of course an energy lifeline. That is why it is also a trade or energy choke point. That means it's not just that people are passing or not passing. The issue is all these countries are having good amount of oil reserves. So if you do not allow them to pass, all this oil etc. can be also stopped. Now this British dominance lasted till 1971. After which, what happened? The Strait of Hormuz, just before this US-Israel versus Iran war, is open, free for all. Free for all as in no one is guarding it and no one is charging you anything, right? That was the case. But USA Israel attacked Iran, Subsequent to the attack, Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran is now saying, I am going to charge fees, and also I am going to let only the friendly countries through. The enemy countries and their allies, I am not going to let them pass. And even when the peace talks are going on, Iran may still not want to lose control of the Strait of Hormuz. In response to that, USA is saying, I will also block Strait of Hormuz. How they will block? They are blue navy, so they will station their navy, and if Iran is allowing some other ships to pass, it will still not allow them to pass. So the Strait of Hormuz, which was closed previously, USA Israel's attack on Iran, sorry, which was open previously, USA Israel's attack on Iran led to its closure, and now USA wants it open again, which was already open. So this is the history in the present context of Strait of Hormuz. Thank you.